friends, sir, welcome back to a new video. I think almost 2 years ago I uploaded 2 videos like a walking Aktabe tour. Those videos were popular. So today I want to show you, or I want to take you, and the tears are coming. It's too cold, it's minus 15 today. Today I want to take you guys with me a little bit outside the city. I want to show you how beautiful Aktabe city is during winter. So I want to take you to a frozen lake and a little bit like an old village outside city. I just came out of my house. It's one of the difficulties of living in a very cold country, because when you get outside the house, the pressure is different and the temperature changes from plus 25 to minus 10, minus 15. It's difficult to breathe and the tears come up. Tears come out. Okay, let's start our Aktabe trip for today. It took me around 5 minutes to get to the city center. Near the Akimat's office in Aktabe, you can find a lot of tour bus at the weekend. You can ask them which places they are visiting today, pay the amount. I found this amazing tour guide where he explained the place we are visiting. There were around 20 people within the bus, and then we moved to our first location, which was a hilltop. You can see the vehicle there. It was very scary coming up on the mountain, on top of this mountain during the heavy snow time. It's not a 4x4, it was just moving around left and right. Anyway, it's a very beautiful area. You can see it's like touristic spot. People are going to the end and taking a photo. And let's see what's here. It's just it's interesting to come here in the snow. It's not that interesting to come here during snow because everything is just white and gray. But I hope this place will be more interesting in during spring or summer. Now I'll show you around the top of the small mountain in Aktabe. We spent around 30 to 40 minutes on top of this hill. It was very interesting but the tour guide said that this place is very beautiful during the autumn, so I'll be visiting this place again during the autumn. When we reached there, a lot of people created small groups and moved to different locations. I was walking around alone with my camera because this was the first location we went. Everybody, they are strangers. So once we went to a second and third location, people started speaking to each other, and then we went to group photos, and it was a great experience. This van was not ready to go to the top of the hill. It was very slippery. You can see families coming for this tour with their kids so that they can enjoy the snow. And this is just the beginning of winter here in Aktabe. You can pay around, I think, 10 or 20 US dollars. They'll take you around. Like interesting places in Aktabe. Today, I think this trip cost me around 25 US dollars. The main idea of this trip is to visit small. They call it mountains. I feel it's a hill, but anyway, it's up to each person's interpretation. It's just walking to the top of the hill. It's just empty around here. I think usually during spring or autumn, this place should look amazing. Now it just look like a white snow desert, even if it's a word. I'm going to spend some time here and then move to the next location. It's too cold. Because it's now higher elevation. It's around minus 20. I had to wear my gloves in one hand. In my vlogging hand, I don't have a gloves. After a 30 minutes drive, we reached the edge of a forest. They call it the dry forest. I'm not sure how to say it in Russian, I forgot. And this forest, they usually come here for photo session. It's very beautiful during winter. But the guide told us to always stay together because it's very easy to get lost in the forest. And there are wild animals inside. This is the second location. It's like a small forest inside. But because it's winter, all the trees have already shed their leaves. It's just branches and just a tree without the leaves. It's very difficult to walk here because these trees, I think, either were cut. I think they cut this tree for making fire. The people around here, there's only very less number of houses around here, so they use these branches. They cut them, dry them, and use it to make fire. It's very interesting for me personally to walk around, and also dangerous. I can see footprints of animals on top of this. I'm just walking around inside this place. It's just like a maze. I can hear my friends laughing far away. That's the only way to locate myself in this dry jungle, a jungle with trees, empty trees. So one more tip I want to say is, when you are coming to Kazakhstan or any cold places, please make sure to bring a lot of batteries. I learned this the very hard way because if it's very cold, the battery depletes very quickly. Usually my camera can record for 1 or 2 hours, 1 hour 30 minutes. But if it's super cold like this, negative temperature, -20, each battery records just 10 minutes maximum. So keep this in mind if you are a serious vlogger or a photographer in very cold, extreme climate. And those are the industries that pollutes our environment. So it's something very contrasting to see. The next location, we were going to a place where people collect fresh, clean water. So the snow melts and the people come here with large number of bottles. They collect the water. And also you can see, and also in this location you can see a lot of truck drivers coming for a pit stop. We were surprised to see a guy cooking rabbit. So as you can see, there's just one person as a driver of that lorry, not lorry, let's say truck, and he was fixing his truck and also cooking rabbit. People were gathered around him because I don't know why. People were just surprised to see a man cooking rabbit in the middle of empty location. There was nothing around. We just stayed here for maybe 10 or 15 minutes, and then the guide took us down to the place where people collect fresh water. As you can see, people are coming with 5-liter bottles. There was a guy who came in a Land Cruiser. He had at least 25 bottles, and this is a special location where people come to collect water. I hope the guys who bring water to my home are not collecting water from this location. I was surprised, like everybody had their own cup. They were drinking water from this location. They were saying that the water cannot get more pure than what you get here. Anyway, I tried. It tastes like mineral. The water was full of mineral, but I enjoyed it, and I recommend you guys to find this location. I wouldn't find this location if I was not traveling with a tour guide. He was very experienced. He do this every week, so he know what time to come here. We started traveling again to the fourth location. We were traveling to Aktobe Lake. I'm seeing this lake for the first time because usually I see it from the aeroplane. So when you come to Aktobe, you can see a very large lake, maybe 10 or 15 minutes before the plane lands. I was planning to swim, just joking. I don't know how to swim, but the lake is frozen. So people are just walking on top of the frozen lake, and far away you can see people are camping on top of the frozen lake. But you can see the dam very far. So what people usually do is they drill a circle. So they drill a hole, like a small hole, and they start fishing under the lake. And it's just empty, just a frozen lake, nothing more to see. I'll try to do some fishing here, just to if I can. There's no professionals here. It's just families coming here to spend some time and do some fishing. I'm feeling a little bit worried because I'm a little bit away from a lot of people. I feel like the ice is gonna break and fall down, horror film style, but it's a very real experience. It's my first time walking on top of a frozen lake. 9 years living in Kazakhstan, I never had the experience. I didn't have opportunity to do this. Amazing. As you can see, during winter there's nothing to see here unless you are involved in some kind of activity. So you can see those tents, 3 or 4 people sit in those tents and they do fishing. And there are other activities also. If you can rent a snowmobile, it's much more interesting to spend time here. You can ride around, right on top of the ice. These tents, you cannot just go and make your tent on top of the ice. You need to get permission before. There's a group of police or people sitting in front of the entrance where you have discussed, pay some money to build this tent, and once they approve, they check the equipments, and if they approve, you can go there. I went on top of the frozen lake and started removing the snow to see the ice below. Yes, I can say I was a bit afraid, but still there were a lot of people fishing and standing on top of this ice. Even I saw people jumping on top of it, so I think it was fine. Here you can see a fishing rod. They just bury it and they make it like a small hole on the ice, and they bury the fishing rod. So the people are not going to stand near the fishing rod and wait for hours. So what they do is they sit in the tent, come back every like 15, 20, 30 minutes, have a look if there are any fish, and they just take the fish, go there. They have a small stove, they're gonna cook, have a good time. I hear multiple people speaking inside the tent. It's just things like with friends fishing on top of the lake, frozen lake. Started walking from one end to other end. It's longer than I thought. I'm afraid. Anyway, you can see car tracks on top of this. I think they drive cars on top of the frozen lake, or they have the snowmobile. They drive on top of this. It's a very big lake here in Aktobe. Hopefully in the future I'll come back here in summer so I can show you. I don't know what else to show you guys here. It's just a frozen lake, ice and snow. It's so huge. It teaches you how to be humble and small. The snowmobile that you just saw is the police that I was talking about. This person would go from tent to tent and see the size of the hole they make for fishing, because there is some regulations. If there is a big hole, it's dangerous for us, because when we walk on top of the snow, we are not able to see the hole. So that's why this person goes from person to person, check if they're making the correct appropriate hole size. Walking through a small forest, like a trekking zone inside the forest. I'm planning to walk till the end. Going to the end of the forest, they have some kind of barbecue. They have kind of barbecue and songs and fireplace and all those things. It's not that hot now. It's when it's very cold, it's very difficult to think. Your brain freeze, like literally your brain freeze in this negative temperature. They have some music and all those things. So I'm gonna go there, enjoy some time with the new friends I made inside the tour bus. And there's nothing to show here other than beautiful trees. In the previous forest we went, everything was dry, the leaves were falling down. Here it's not that much. It's a beautiful place outside the city, taking some fresh air I'm sure when I go home today I can sleep very comfortably, taking all this oxygen and fresh air. That's it from me today. Thank you for watching this video. It was a great experience for me because I have been sitting at home for a very long time and working from home. So I used this tour to get some fresh air, fresh my mind. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Please make sure to subscribe and see you soon in the next video. Goodbye.